Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Terminal 2, Taipei Airport in, you guessed it, Taipei. My name is Scott. I am the guy who writes all the airline reviews you read over on sandspotter.com, and I'm running late. Well, running late by SandSpotter standards, that is. It's about 1:30 p.m., and my flight to Tokyo Narita is departing at 2:40, so I'm not exactly in danger of missing my flight or anything. But still, I was just hoping to have more time between flights. I had just arrived on a flight from Manila, a little bit late, and, well, in this video, you are not going to see very much of the Taipei airport because there isn't much time to waste. I thought that was my aircraft right there pulling up to the gate, but I was wrong. It's actually going to be a remote gate today. But anyway, this is going to be business class up to Tokyo Narita, as I said. And at this point, I don't even know what this is going to be like. And that's because China Airlines has several versions of their A330-300 regional business class product. And there's really no way to know beforehand what you're going to get when you book the flight. And as you're coming to the airport to get on the flight, you don't know. It's going to be a surprise. And that's okay. I like surprises. Just as long as they're business class surprises. Those are the good kind. Here we are on the shuttle bus going out to the remote gate, and there are a lot of China Airlines A330-300s here at Taipei at this time of day. Tons of them. Got some Air China, and this little guy right here, that China Airlines A321neo, that was what I booked for this flight up to Tokyo Narita, but they changed it to an A330-300. And boy, let me tell you, that would have been a really awesome video. But, oh well, it's going to be A330 Regional Business Class today. Exactly what version of it, I can't tell you yet, but I can tell you that this is the aircraft that I'm going to be taking up to Tokyo today, operating as China Airlines Flight 108. And I will say that all of these people going up into the airplane right now is deceiving because, as you'll see, this was a very empty flight, at least up in business class. So, I don't know where all these people are going. It's back to economy or premium economy. I don't think there's premium economy on these aircraft. It's just business class and economy, which is typical of what you'll get in regional business class around Asia anyway. So, I am one of the first business class passengers to board. As you can see, this is the business class cabin. Typical China Airlines colors and textures, got the purple and the gray. This looks really nice in my opinion. Very premium feeling, very premium looking. I like these blankets and pillows on the seats. That looks great. And then there's all the usual plugs and ports. A lot of this stuff is old, and spoiler alert, it didn't really work all that well during the flight, but it looks good. I will say that compared to what some airlines are offering nowadays on regional flights in and around Asia, this definitely looks dated. Think of Starlux A330 or A350 business class. This is definitely dated. The legroom is really good, very, very generous, but the boxiness of the video screens and the seats themselves, it's, I don't want to say it again, but it's dated. I like it though. I like this. And you can see that delicious and bright looking pre-departure drink over there on the left. I have no idea what that is. I didn't read the menu all that well. I think it's some sort of like a passion fruit drink. They also had water and champagne. They came by with hot towels afterwards, which was perfect for wiping away my purple mustache. And as I was drinking it, I noticed all these storage bins down here. These were awesome. I just maybe wish I brought more stuff with me on this flight. I had nothing to put in them, unfortunately. The legroom is really nice, as you can see. And also, as you can see, the video screen isn't all that bright. It was very pixelated as well, and not a big deal. I mean, this wasn't a very long flight. I didn't watch very many videos anyway, but it's the legroom that counts, and so far, I'm enjoying this quite a bit. I'm also really enjoying the fact that they got us pushed off the gate, or hard stand, or whatever it is you want to call it, just 1 minute late at 2:41 p.m. Surprising considering how bad the weather is. It was coming down hard, the wind was blowing, And as a matter of fact, I think there was actually a typhoon going on at the moment, or this was the lead up to it or the end of it. I don't know, but the weather was terrible, and I was not expecting us to get out of here on time. But we are, and that's a good thing. And would you look at that? I had no idea that they were expanding the Taipei airport. Can't wait to see that. I really like the current version of it. Yeah, it's old and crowded and cramped and it's dark, but I have so many good memories there. It's a nice airport, easy to get around. However, yeah, I think it's time for it to become more modern and more in line with some of the nicer and more modern airports around Asia. Oh, and as you can see, I'm pretty much alone here in business class this afternoon. I think there was one other passenger, so I already knew that the service was going to be really good, and I was really looking forward to it. Here we go, running down runway 05 right. It was only a 15-minute taxi out to the runway, even in this bad weather, and we are in the air 5 minutes late at 2:55 p.m. I've got a question for you. Is there anything better than being all alone in business class? I don't even care what it looks like. This feels good. It feels baller as hell, and kind of like that. Something else that I really like are these very premium-feeling noise-canceling headphones. And it's worth noting that these are actually different than the ones I had just experienced on a different China Airlines flight on a flight up from Manila a few hours earlier. These are much better, more premium feeling. They actually look better as well. So, it's all good. Well, mostly good. This screen just wouldn't do anything. Actually, I don't even know if it was a touchscreen, to be honest. The only way I could interact with it was with the remote control, so maybe it wasn't a touchscreen, and I'm just an idiot. Ooh, look at that. A camera, external cameras on an old A330. That's cool. There's even a phone you could call people. Anyway, in-flight entertainment was good, blah, blah, blah. But now on to the good stuff, the food. It's lunchtime, and you can pause the video if you want to check out this menu. I know I'm just blowing through it really quick, but the most important thing that you need to know is that there were 3 choices for the main course on this flight today. There was chicken, duck, or pork. You know I'm going to go for the chicken, but first came the appetizer in a little bag. Not very premium. Oh well, got my Diet Coke. That makes me happy. Good enough. But still, with only 2 or 3 passengers in business class, would it have killed them to take the nuts out of the pie? Anyway, on to the main course. Now, I ordered the chicken, and I got the pork. And as I said, I was one of only 2 or 3 people in business class this morning, so how they messed up the orders, I have no idea, but this ended up being pretty okay. Technically, this is the grilled Iberian pork chops with red wine, balsamic fig sauce, served with Parmesan crisps and butter potatoes. Not all that bad, actually, and to be honest with you, I didn't even mind the mix-up after a few bites. This was good. And then the dessert came. Not exactly what I was expecting. It was a tart of some kind, I believe, with fresh fruit. The fresh fruit looked exactly how I pictured it in my mind, but this little guy, yeah. I'm not really into sweets and pastries of this kind anyway, but I will tell you that this was good. Maybe a little bit dry if I'm being nitpicky, but I did eat all of it, and you know what? I could have done another. I liked it. In terms of how this meal service compared with the other Taiwanese airlines, I'd have to say that Starlux totally kicks their butt. It's on a completely different level, but this was very comparable to my last few EVA Air experiences. Food quality, the service in general, it was all pretty much the same. Can't really tell the difference between the two, so they're not so far off. Oh, and this is the business class lavatory, by the way. Back at my seat now, and let's see what this bad boy can do. The seat control is really cool. It's under the armrest here, and there are a lot of buttons, which I like to see. And these are not fully lie-flat seats, unfortunately. Actually, you know what? It's not. I don't care if they're not lie-flat. These are airplanes that fly regional routes, usually no more than 4 or 5 hours tops, so a lie-flat seat isn't totally necessary. These do recline relatively flat, though, with the extendable leg rest there. It's not too bad. And even in heavy turbulence like this, the seats hold you in pretty well. I didn't have any issues. And I didn't mention it before, but you probably saw business class here on the China Airlines A330-300 is a high-density 2-2-2 layout. Privacy is a little bit better than you might expect in a seat like this. There's these little wings that extend outward, and there's actually an extension panel which you can pull outward, which does a pretty good job of separating yourself from your seatmate. I didn't get the chance to test it out on this flight, but I can see it coming in really handy if you find yourself sitting next to someone really annoying. Something that I didn't mention earlier was the fact that the flying time between Taipei and Tokyo is about 3 hours. But for some reason or another, the cabin crew seemed like they were in a rush. I mean, they were in a hurry to get the cabin service and the meal completed, and they were pretty much gone after the meal service. It was pretty quiet back here. And just for the record, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, as I actually like to be left alone in business class most of the time. Perfectly alone, isolated, alone with my own thoughts, which could be scary, but just enjoying the seat and the view. It's just so nice to just sit and do nothing every now and then, right? Anyway, if you've made it this far in the video, you might be interested in knowing that I have a newsletter. There's a link for it in the description below, and I recommend signing up for it if you want to stay in touch with me and stay updated with my travels and all of my thoughts on the traveling that I do, mostly air travel, primarily air travel. It's something that I send out about once a month, and it's totally free. And since I'm not really much on social media these days, it is the best way for me to stay in touch with you and for you to stay in touch with me. So I highly recommend it, totally free. Link in the description below, and check out this view. Man, we timed our arrival into Narita perfectly, just as the sun was setting. Actually, just after sunset. That is sunset, technically. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. The weather was perfect. It was really warm, though, as this was late July, and as we all know, late July in Japan can get hot and muggy. But beautiful. Man, that is absolutely gorgeous. For the record, I had planned this ahead of time. I knew that I was going to be arriving into Japan just about at sunset, if everything went to schedule, so I wanted to sit on this side of the aircraft, knowing that's where the sun would be setting. Just thinking ahead, hoping for the best, and it all worked out. Anyway, we touched down on runway 16 left, 1 minute early at 6:49 p.m. From there, it was a leisurely 11-minute taxi over to gate 92 in Terminal 2. And then by the time we were at the gate, it was about 7 p.m., just a little bit behind schedule. No biggie, especially since this was my destination for the evening, and I didn't really have anywhere that I needed to be. And besides, I was perfectly content to sit here on this aircraft and enjoy that sunset and the views here at Narita, which are always amazing. Checking out all the airlines that we don't get back home in the U.S., it's always a treat. I love this. Flying into Japan, especially Tokyo, Narita, even Haneda for that matter. It's always a treat. If you've never done it, I highly recommend it. And there you have it. Technically, we've arrived, even though we're not quite at the gate yet. Just about there. Overall, this was a really good flight. I was a little bit apprehensive of choosing China Airlines for this flight up to Tokyo. There are so many other really good options. Starlux Airlines in particular, that's my favorite. They are the best, at least in Taiwan. And even EVA Air has a really solid regional business class product that I highly recommend. I've done that a few times. I've made a few videos about it, made a few blog posts. And overall, I find China Airlines and EVA Air to be relatively close, very similar, except EVA tends to have more modern aircraft, at least at this point, with more modern cabins and interiors. Just my opinion. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.